This is blatant sexism, and shame on him for doing this on the air. And frankly, those other women on set with him were pathetic and weak in calling him out. He deserved a more robust response. He deserves it now from the colleagues at CNN. He deserves it from the colleagues in the news industry and the bosses at CNN.
Yes, welcome back. Women rights group UltraViolet calls on CNN to suspend Don Lemon from talking politics after Nikki Haley insult. You all saw what happened a few days ago. I don't know if you saw this clip, just take a look at these.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google.
Going down on this article, a top women group is calling for CNN anchor Don Lemon to be suspended from covering politics over his comment about women and age this week while discussing Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley. Why Don Lemon egregiously sexist comment about women being in their prime have no place on CNN or anywhere in the news media. This isn't the first time Lemon bias has influenced his on-air reporting, said Bridget Todd, Director of Communication at UltraViolet, a leading national gender advocacy group from athletes to politicians and even his co-anchors. Lemon has used his power and platform to consistently undermine and demean powerful women. Lemon sparked widespread backlash Thursday morning with comments criticizing Haley, who has called for competency tests for politicians over the age of 75 years. This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's a wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime.
Here, you got on the news yesterday for a very different reason. I know it's a big turn away from Beijing and Washington, D.C. politics, but this was a comment that happened about 24 hours earlier on CNN. This is how it went.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s.
I don't think he was talking about Amazon Prime. Later, he tweeted in the afternoon, Sandra, and sent this out.
He said this, Ambassador Haley: the reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age does not define her, either personally or professionally. I have countless women in my life who prove that every day. Is that enough for you as an apology?
Look, this is something that I have faced all of my life. If it was Don Lemon yesterday, it was Whoopi Goldberg the day before, there will be somebody else tomorrow. I have always made the liberals' heads explode. They can't stand the fact that a minority conservative female would not be on the Democratic side, because they know I pull independents. They know I pull suburban women. They know I pull minorities over to what we are trying to do. And look, he made that comment. I wasn't sitting there saying sexist middle-aged CNN anchors need to have mental competency tests, although he may have just proven that point. What I was saying is we need to be transparent. Those elected officials that are making key decisions for us Americans on national security and keeping our kids safe. And the debt, yes, we need to know exactly that we're sending people that are mentally competent to do that. But look, the liberals are going to continue to show themselves. They can't stand the fact that I am a Republican and I am a conservative. And you know what? It rolls off my shoulders. I don't think too much about it.
Well, the New York Post calls it lemon squeezed. Maybe you feel the same. Madam Ambassador, thank you for your time, and we will speak down the road, okay? Nikki Haley from Live in New Hampshire.
Thank you so
today.
much.
Go follow.
When you take a look at what is happening, at a certain point, I didn't want to comment on topics like this. I have seen a lot of people saying Don Lemon is just taking the same talking point like Android did. You know, when you look at what is happening, this very short clip has triggered a lot of people, especially women, and now some are saying they will use their power, to investigate CNN Don Lemon. Like you saw at the beginning of the clip where Kelly made it clear she is very angry, hearing this. And they are saying that Don Lemon, he has been doing this for a very long time. She undermined, women. In the show even, 3 weeks ago, I did a video similar to this, same type of talking point where she offended her co-host, I don't want to go into that because sometimes people don't even watch CNN. When we don't report situations like this, you might not even know that something is going on. I put out this similar video a few days ago. I decided to delete it, but when I saw what is happening, I just decided so you can see.
Delivering a message that she knows Republican voters are going to receive in a certain way, in exactly the way that they want to hear it. The only thing they want to hear is America's not a racist country, but obviously the issues are more complex than that. They are deeper than that, and I think at some point she will have to really grapple with that. I mean, Nikki Haley presents herself as she said it multiple times today, a daughter of immigrants, someone who has a unique view on difference in this country. But that's not the same thing as really understanding race in this country and the role that it plays. And I think that that's the part where she is going to have to go a little bit further. For the Republican primary for now, though, I think she did exactly what they wanted to hear. She talked about funding the police. She talked about putting people in jail.
Not only does her past connection with Trump really turn off Never Trump voters, but the times that she has been critical of him makes those who are part of the core MAGA base distrust her as well. She talked negatively about immigration and used the word illegals, but at the same time told this story about how Venezuelans see America as a country of hope. She opened her video talking about how where she grew up, it was racially divided by railroad tracks, but at the same time says, but racism is over. That's just wokeness. She doesn't seem to have a clear message.
How does that work, the mandatory male confidence check?
It's stuff like that that just tells me you're not serious.